The first people in Britain lived in caves, and gathered plants and hunted wild animals, thousands of years ago. This time is called the Stone Age, after the stone tools and weapons they used.
During the Late Stone Age, or Neolithic Age, people settled in villages. They were the first farmers. In the Bronze Age they learned how to make tools from bronze.
Iron Age Britain was ruled by warlike Celtic tribes from Europe. The Celts made things from bronze and iron and decorated them with lovely swirling designs. They later became known as the Britons.
Nearly 2,000 years ago, in AD 43, Britain was invaded by Romans from Italy. They conquered England and Wales, and built grand towns and villas, strong forts and long straight roads.
After the Romans left, England was invaded by Anglo-Saxons from northern Europe, and split up into several rival kingdoms. Many Britons ran away to Cornwall, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland.
Next, fierce Viking warriors from Scandinavia raided Britain in dragon ships, and settled mainly in the east. The Saxon king, Alfred the Great, stopped them from taking over England in 878.
Britain was then conquered by Normans from northern France, who built strong stone castles and cathedrals. Their duke, William the Conqueror, became king when he beat the Saxons near Hastings in 1066.
The next 400 years are known as the Middle Ages. The Normans were followed by kings from the royal families of Plantagenet, Lancaster, and York, who fought endless battles here and abroad.
During this time, Anglo-Norman knights, like Richard the Lionheart, went on the Crusades. These were a series of military expeditions in the Middle East to recover the Holy Lands, where Christianity began, from Muslim occupation. They were a failure. King John, Richard's brother, abused feudal rights. For this reason, mighty barons forced him to sign the Magna Carta. This document established certain rules, and helped to set up the first parliament to advise the king. Later, a plague called the Black Death killed thousands of people. And angry peasants revolted against harsh laws and unfair taxes.
In 1485, the Lancastrian leader, Henry Tudor, won the Wars of the Roses. These were fought between the Lancastrians, whose badge was a red rose, and the Yorkists, whose badge was a white rose.
Henry Tudor's son, Henry VIII, broke with the Roman Catholic Church in 1534, because the Pope wouldn't let him divorce the first of his 6 wives. 2 less fortunate wives had their heads chopped off. Mary I was Henry VIII's daughter. She had been unhappy since her father had divorced her mother, Catherine of Aragon. She believed that it was her duty to return England to the Catholic Church. During her reign, hundreds of Protestants were put to death. Because of this, she got the nickname Bloody Mary. She was succeeded by her sister, Elizabeth I.
Elizabeth I was the last Tudor. She restored the Protestant religion and established the Church of England. During her long reign, fearless sea captains explored the world, and Admiral Nelson fought the Spanish fleet, known as the Armada, which was sent by King Philip II to invade England. Elizabeth I was succeeded by Stuart kings.
The early Stuarts argued with Parliament. This led to civil war in 1642. Parliament won and Oliver Cromwell ruled as Lord Protector. The kings and queens who ruled later had less and less power.
The Georgian Age is named after several kings called George, who followed the Stuarts. During this time, some people left to begin new lives overseas, and Britain fought the French Emperor, Napoleon, who wanted to conquer Europe.
The agricultural and industrial revolutions of the 18th and 19th centuries brought great changes. New machines were invented, and lots of towns, factories, canals, steamships and railways were built. Workers, including young children, worked long hours for very little pay. Some set up trade unions to fight for better living and working conditions. Gradually, new laws were passed to improve these.
Under Queen Victoria, Britain continued to build a huge empire overseas, and fought wars to protect its trade and territory. Most countries under British rule won independence later.
In the last 100 years, women have won the right to vote, and social conditions have improved for most people. However, Britain has also faced important challenges, such as fighting in 2 world wars, problems with terrorism in Northern Ireland, and leaving the European Union.